Yeah, nice. So what plants have you seen the most benefits from?
Well, there's a couple I'd like to speak about, but they're both a type of plant which are called adaptogens.
Hmm.
Now, let me contextualize this. In Western science, pharmaceutical science, they basically have one or a couple of active compounds which do all the work. And the difference with herbalism is that there's hundreds, if not thousands, of compounds in a plant extract which work on a myriad of different parts of your body. And there's this plant category called adaptogens.
Hmm.
And what they do is they will adapt specifically to you to help your body, your nervous system, your hormones to balance. So if you're really fatigued all the time, they can lift your energy up. Or if I'm really hyper and manic, they can help calm me down. And different ones of these plants have got their own little superpowers. But ashwagandha, you may have heard of, is super, super popular now.
Hmm.
And that's an adaptogen that's specifically good for stress, anxiety, sleep. But because it's got hundreds, if not thousands, of molecules, it's actually really good for helping balance testosterone levels, and it can help a bit with immunity as well. And it's kind of difficult explaining this to some people sometimes, because we're used to one drug does one thing, whereas with plants, because it works on so many different parts of the body, it can actually do multiple things. Now, the way that ashwagandha works is our nervous system is what's responsible for our movement, but also our thoughts, memories, and emotions. The
Hmm.
central nervous system is the brain and the spine. And when it fires too much, when it's basically works by firing electricity. When it fires too much, get very anxious, very jittery, can't sleep. And there's this inbuilt mechanism, this inbuilt receptor called GABA receptors. When GABA receptors are stimulated, the electricity firing slows right down, and we feel nice and calm, chilled out. Alcohol, for example, stimulates GABA receptors, which is why if too much is stimulated, we lose control of our movement and we get clumsy, because our nervous system is in control of our movement as well. Now, ashwagandha stimulates these GABA receptors, and it calms us and chills us out. It helps with sleep latency, which is basically the period of time that it takes you to fall asleep. The exact statistic, but a significant proportion of people in this study were falling asleep a lot faster. As you know, sleep is imperative for mental health.
Hmm.
Another thing that it really is good at is when we're stressed, we release this hormone called cortisol, and it makes you forget everything. It's the reason why you can study for an exam, know exactly, you know everything, you get in there, mind gone blank, you can't remember anything. It's because you get a flush of cortisol because you're stressed. And you'll
Hmm.
find that if you've had chronic periods of stress, that you just can't remember anything. Ashwagandha has been shown to reduce that by over 30%. So it's really beautiful, potent stuff. Um, and yeah, it's like I put it in my formulations for memory, just because, okay, yeah, rosemary, sage help with the enzymes that create new memories and stuff like that, and that's great. But if you're not getting to the root of the problem, which is your stress levels,
For
you're
sure.
always going to be, battling uphill. So that's one adaptogen which I absolutely love. That's one of the ones where people have literally messaged me saying I used to have panic attacks every day, and I'm not
Mm.
anymore. It's really good stuff. And then the other one that I love is Rhodiola, Radiola rosea, Arctic root. It's from Siberia. And the Russians actually used to give it to their cosmonauts when they sent them to space to help them deal with the emotional, physical, and mental struggles of being up there. Builds our resilience up massively. Been shown in the workplace to increase productivity, increase concentration, all these sorts of things. It increases our VO2 max, and which is basically um, in exercise, it increases people's capacity for exercise. It's been given to Olympians and all sorts. And it also increases our serotonin levels, because it's full of this molecule called 5-HTP,
I've heard of
which you
that.
may have heard of.
Yeah.
There's synthetic 5-HTP is sold in the shops, because
Hmm.
basically what it does is it's an ingredient that goes on to make serotonin or melatonin in the body. It's a precursor. Melatonin is what helps us with sleep, and serotonin is what makes us feel good, makes us feel sociable, makes us feel happy. 5-HTP is the base ingredient for that, and this plant is full of it. So again, like I've had people message me saying it's really helping my energy, and then I've got a lot of people messaging me saying I'm sleeping deeper than ever. This stuff has really sorted me out. This is the one where people are messaging me saying I can dance again. I'm not feeling depressed anymore. And another thing that it does, reason why it can help us with our energy levels, is because it basically oxygen. There's this part of the cell called mitochondria. It's a little factory in the cell which smushes together oxygen and glucose to make energy. And Radiola affects how we metabolize oxygen, so we can actually create more energy. And yeah, I just think it's magic that these completely natural plants can have all these beautiful effects on our body and can increase our quality of life. So we don't have to wait till we're at crisis point before we go to the doctors and they say, here's some Prozac. You know, there's things we can do, tools we can have in our toolkit for periods of time which is stressful. And that's not to say there's anything wrong with Prozac. If that's real medicine, then crack on and all the best on your healing. People need what they need. But I just love these because, you know, Rodeo, I don't take it every day, but if I'm going through a period of time, which is like if I've got a lot of work or, you know, something's happened in my personal life, whatever, I have this tool in my toolkit that helps take the edges off and gives me my power back.